Guys, it's Tuesday, and I'm doing birria tacos at the sorority house. Look at all these beautiful ingredients. Now, most of the girls agreed this was the best meal I cooked for them all year. So it all starts with that chuck, and I'm going to cut it into small chunks because I want this to kind of break down when I cook, and I don't want to cook them in big whole pieces. So we're going to get those all cut up, season them really heavily with our salt and pepper. So I'm using a kosher salt here. I get a real nice layer on these. Then I'm going to move on to my cracked black pepper and get a real nice layer of that on there as well. My griddle is hot. I throw a little bit of oil down, and it's time to start browning these things off. So guys, I'm going to go on down with these. Let them get a nice sear. Now these are thick, so I'm actually going to sear all four sides. So as that first side is starting, we're going to hit another layer of salt and pepper on them. Salt first, nice good coating. Finish those off with our black pepper, and I give them their first flip. Now I'm going to get those sides done as well. So while those are browning off, we're going to start doing our chilies. And I'm going to start with my anchos here, and I'm going to take all the seeds out, at least as much as I can. Try to keep this dish from getting too hot. So I get them nice and clean. This takes a few minutes, but it's worth the extra step. And next I'm going to do my guajillos. Same thing. Pull the top off, pull out the seeds, get them all cleaned up. And then guys, that's good to go. It's time to get that meat off the griddle. I'm going to throw it in a big dish because we're going to roast this in the oven. Now we'll start making our sauce. A little bit of oil in the pan, and I'm going to start by throwing those chilies in there. I want to kind of bloom these a little bit, get the flavors to start coming out a little bit. So I don't want these to burn. I'm on a medium heat, and I'm going to keep them moving around. They're actually starting to turn the oil red in there. They're already starting to release some of their super good flavor. So I'm going to go in with a whole bunch of garlic cloves, and I just have a couple white onions I chopped and quartered. We're going to throw those in there as well. And after just a second, I'm going to throw in some tomatoes. I quartered those as well. So we're going to let all this cook for just a second. Kind of bloom all those flavors together. And then I'm going to hit that with some beef stock, guys. And this is essentially going to turn into our consommé down the road. But right now we're just using it to cook off these veggies and these chilies. We're going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes or so. Let everything get nice and soft. Then I'm going to go ahead and put it in my blender. This is where we're going to puree it. So I got a big blender. I'm actually squishing it all in there. I'm going to get it all. And I'm going to start with a couple pulses because I don't want this to just explode on me. And I have a towel over the top just to be careful. So once we get it going, guys, get it nice and smooth. Go ahead and pour that right over your meat. Just like that. Next, we're going to add a little bit of seasoning. And I'm going to start with some cumin. Nice little layer there. And then I got some dried oregano as well. Those both go on. We're going to finish with some bay leaves. And then that broth that cooked all those chilies, it has all that flavor in it. That's going right on top. That's going to be our cooking liquid. Just kind of move this around a little bit, give a little stir. Make sure we're well blended. That's good to go. I'm going to cover that in some foil. We're going 375 degrees. Guys, I'm going to let this go all afternoon. It's going to cook for about 4 hours. I want these things fork tender. I want them falling apart. So it's 4 hours later, and check these out. Give the little break test. They're perfect. So I'm going to throw those into a pan. We're just going to start breaking them up. And guys, it's no work at all. They're just falling apart. They are so good. Look at that. Super tender. Now we're going to get our sauce going. So I'm going to pour this through the strainer. I'm going to use a little whisk. Help work it through. We're going to have to do this a couple of times. Pour some more in. Another little bit of the whisk. Move it around. We're going to get all that liquid down into that pan. Now I'm going to use my ladle, and I'm going to take off that oil on top, that grease. That's the essential oil that we use to cook these tacos. That's what we'll be dipping our tortillas in right before we throw them down on the griddle. And that's what that looks like. So I'm going to set that aside. Essentially what's left is our consommé. And we're going to throw that down on the stove. Now I got everything ready here. My cilantro, onion, limes, my tortillas and cheese. I got some charro beans to serve on the side, and I got my consommé. Guys, there's my oil, there's my meat. It's time to cook some tacos. So let's try this. Let's do a tester because I need to know how this is. I dip that tortilla in those oils. I throw it right down on the griddle. Next is that cheese. Nice little layer. We want these things cheesy, and then we're going to hit it with some meat, man. And don't skimp on that meat. It's got to be a big, thick taco, guys. So we're going to fold that over, and now we're just going to let this cook. We'll flip it back and forth a couple times. We'll let it get nice and crispy. It's got so much flavor going on right now, it's not even funny. I can just smell it all. So I put a little bit of consommé in my serving dish. I'm going to throw that down on a plate. Guys, I got a little bit of onion that's going to go in there. Finish that with some cilantro. And of course, you got to have your squeeze of lime. Don't forget to put a little drip of lime in that consommé as well. You're ready, man. Just get in there and enjoy. When I took a bite, guys, it hit me. This, I think, was the best quesabiria taco I have ever had. It's as fresh as it gets, super delicious. All the flavors are on point. Man, what a treat. Thanks for watching. Cheers, everyone.